Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we're going to talk about an album released by one of the great supergroups of the late 80s. This is the Traveling Wilburys Volume 1, released on October 18th, 1988. This is the debut album of this group, featuring some guys we all know and love, and we'll go ahead and just call them out by name. We've got Bob Dylan here. We have Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, George Harrison, and not to mention that guy from ELO, Mr. Jeff Lynne. This was their debut album, and this started out as sort of an interesting collaboration. And the story I think I heard was that George Harrison was going to record a B-side for a song, and Jeff Lynne was working with Roy Orbison on the album Mystery Girl, and Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever, which was a huge hit. And so, having dinner with Jeff Lynne and Roy Orbison, he needed to record this B-side to this song, and so he asked Jeff Lynne about it, and Roy Orbison, and he basically said it'd be kind of fun just to go in and just do this song. So George called Bob Dylan, who was going to let him use his studio, and they went by Tom Petty's house to pick up a guitar that was left there, and so he got invited along too. And so they got together at Dylan's house, and they worked on this song, Handle with Care. And at first Dylan was just sort of the host. He was just kind of, I'm going to cook some barbecue, and we're just going to hang out. And so, as any good musician's going to do, they asked Dylan to kind of come in and write some lyrics, and eventually recorded the song. Now, the song Handle with Care was kind of considered to be just too good to be just this B-side. And so George Harrison, in his infinite wisdom, said, we're going to make a band and we're going to record more songs. And they got together again for about 9 days and recorded the basic tracks at Dave Stewart's house. And so they went back to George Harrison's house and did some overdubs at his studio. And so they kind of became known as this sort of anonymous group, the Traveling Wilburys. And they actually adopted names, and we're going to talk about those guys now. You've got Nelson Wilbury, Otis Wilbury there, Lucky Wilbury here on the end. We have Lefty Wilbury here, and also Charlie T. Jr. Wilbury. Also recorded with Jim Keltner. He was credited as Buster Sideberry, and it was just a lot of fun. So they kind of came in, and George Harrison got him on Warner Brothers to release the album because Warner Brothers was doing his studio stuff at the time, and they actually incorporated their own Wilbury Records label through Warner Brothers. So there they are on the first side, and I will flip it over and show you the other side of the record there. And so it was just a lot of fun because everybody knew who these guys were. And would go on and just talk about what a great experience it was. Now, one of the things I always thought was kind of fun about the Wilburys was that it was a band of rhythm guitarists. Even though, funny enough, George Harrison, everybody knows, was a lead guitarist. I think Jeff Lynne is a great guitarist in his own right, as well as the other guys. But it just became kind of this fun sort of thing where they all sort of took turns. But talking about the songs themselves, of course, Handle with Care was a big hit. Also, End of the Line. But Bob Dylan contributes Tweeter and the Monkey Man, which is a great Bob Dylan story song. You have Roy Orbison doing a classic Roy Orbison bit, Not Alone Anymore. And then you've got some nice just pop rock stuff like Heading for the Light. Dirty World has some hilarious lyrics where the band's sort of winking at you the whole time. But yes, the Traveling Wilburys, one of the great super groups. And of course, fans of any of those guys, you're gonna want to check this one out. I'm sure you probably already know this album and have it. Now, after Roy Orbison died, they went on to do a, funny enough, Volume 3. There was no Volume 2. Volume 3, and there was talk about Dale Shannon even coming into the fold at some point. They did some tracks with Dale Shannon, who Jeff Lynne was working with, to fill Roy Orbison's void. Unfortunately, 3 of these guys are gone now, sadly enough. So we'll never see a reunion of the Wilburys. But it's just a fun, solid listen, and I highly recommend it. The Traveling Wilburys, today's Daily Record. Like, comment, subscribe, share down below. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Also, follow my main channel, Tommy Burton's VC channel. There's a link up above in the description box on the header of this page. And enjoy interacting with you guys. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.